Hey there, Sandra Edmond, Queen of Tax Deeds, with your Tip Tuesday. So we find ourselves here on my website, buyingtaxdeeds.com, aka queenoftaxdeeds.com. And let's say, for example, I'm looking for a tax deed sale. And today we'll do Brevard. So this is the Brevard Clerk of Court, CC, on my website. So I've got clerk of court, tax collector, property appraiser. Always look for the tax deed files in the clerk of court in most counties, except for Orange County, it's comptroller, but most counties it's clerk of court. So once we dive down over here, it's usually in the public records or official records area. So as you can see, Brevard's website has a ton of stuff. And look, by the way, see they've got reports. Reports is always a good page to be nosy about. Extra tip for you guys to be nosy about when you're looking on the county's website, because sometimes they'll have downloadable links and files that might be a good resource, free data for your investment or marketing, things like that. Sometimes you can download like entire database of property owners who are delinquent. Ordinarily, you would find that on the tax collector's website, not on the clerk of the court. Well, why don't we do that real quick? Why not? Let's come over here. We're going to click Brevard TC. This is where we would come to get tax data. So we'd either contact the tax collector directly to ask them, or we would come on the website and see if it's available online. Now, by tax data, I mean if you wanted to mail to property owners who are delinquent to try to buy the property ahead of the auction, or we just go to the auction website and see what properties are coming up in the auction. And there goes our list of those that are coming up. But if you want to catch them way before then you can actually buy a database from the actual counties. So I have not looked at anything, the database in Brevard to buy in a while. So I don't remember exactly where it is, but usually they have data. Most of them do. See public records request. So that's really a good area. And that's where you would just ask, hey, wanted to know if I can get such and such a type data. So you see that? Name of requester, address, city, state. So they make it that easy. And then if you also want to look up just one individual property, you come over here to tax account just to look up that one property. Let's say if you wanted to see if a particular property was behind on their taxes or not. Now you can always call and speak to them. So I live in Florida, where we have a very broad public records law. I used to be a news reporter, so we used to use those public records a lot to make public records requests to receive information from the government. Anything that they've done using our taxpayer dollars, you are allowed to access. It's a public record. So the custodian of records are the people in each department or in whatever office who hold those records. So they're the ones that we would go to say, hey, I'd like to make a Florida public records request to receive such and such of records. It's kind of like the Freedom of Information Act. I think that's what it's called, the Freedom of Information Act, where nationally. So in Florida, it's the sunshine laws that allow us to see everything that's done using our taxpayer money has to be done in the light, in sunshine. So therefore, we have access to it. Anyway, back to what we were discussing here. Let's go back. Now we're at the clerk of the court for Brevard County. If you want to pull up the tax deed sale information, you want to do research about an auction, you come over here. So it's just right under public record search, and we click tax deed /auctions. Now, if you see Brevard, they have a wonderful site here. Look at all the information. They got information here. Then on the left here, you can contact them. They have frequently asked questions, which right here, they have all the answers to your questions. What is a tax deed? Where can I find a list of dates being offered? Blah, blah, blah. Then they break them down right here. See that? Buyer beware. Very, very important. Land is sold as is. You must do your own research. That is for reals. Because otherwise, some people buy property that they should not have bought, and then they want the county to do something about it, like give them back their money. And the county does not give back money. Okay, I started doing this in 2004, and I remember back in the day, I was over in Ocala just listening to the phone calls, because I was in the office running a title search on a piece of property, and they were getting a phone call from someone that had bought property that they should not have bought, and the guy had already wired in his money to pay the full amount, and it was like six figures. He paid a lot of money for it, or 80,000. I can't remember how much. It was like 80 or 100,000, something like that. So he had already wired his money in and never went to go look at the property. So now he went to go look at it and found out there's nothing on the property. Matter of fact, it's just utility easements, just power lines running across the back of it. And he wanted his money back. So I just heard him ask the clerk over and over to get his money back. And she had to just keep rephrasing it all the time. Buyer beware, there are no refunds. So he could not get his money back. Not a pretty day. Very, very ugly. But anyway, if we come over here, we see on their website, they've got tons of information. In addition to frequently asked questions, we've got lands available. Those are the properties that already went to the auction and nobody bought them. So they show you how to access it, the list. Here it is in a PDF format here. Real auction. So Brevard does their auction online. So this is the portal to their online auction. If you look at my other videos that I have posted, I did an auction maybe like a week ago where I watched a live auction in Polk County, but Real Auction is the same system that Polk uses. So the majority of the counties use pretty much the same system. It's like maybe two big systems that they use. So once you know one, you're pretty much good with all the other counties. So this is for certificate holders. So the person that bought the tax certificate, basically the person who helped the county out and lent them the money for the taxes, now they want to get their money back. They ask the county to pay them the money, and the county does that by holding the auction. So this is their form here for them to start to trigger the auction process. All of this is a lot more details. I'm just trying to give you guys the 50,000 square foot level view on this. Right here, more information about the tax deed sales. Over here, about surplus funds in the affidavit. That's money left over after the property is sold at the auction. You can make money by finding people to show them where they have money. So, yeah. Then we have view tax deed files online. So that is what we're looking for if we're buying at the auction, because we want to run our own title search. So we're going to click here. And that website, this link keeps you on the county's page right here. If we go to Real Auction Online Tax Deed Auction, that takes us to the third-party provider's website. So you just want to make sure that you understand every time you go to the county's websites for the tax deeds, if they do not do the auction online, that you are going to be brought to another company's website, a private company's website who does the auction. So when we're doing the research to investigate if we want the property, meaning our due diligence, we want to make sure that we've read the tax deed file. And for that, you have to stay on the county's website to do that. So that's this right here, view tax deed files online. So when I click that, it took us here. And of course, they've got all their disclaimers and stuff right here. And then you just pick a sale date. So where today's date on this recording is February 25th. So let's say we're going to pick March 20th. Right, and I have its sale date. Let's just hit search. And we see there are two properties coming up for sale. You're like, oh, that's not that many. You know what? Click another one. And look, there's 7 pages, 66 records. Let me increase the number per page. You'll see what I'm talking about. See that? There are 66 records to begin with. Not all of them are scheduled to sale. You look at the current status. Redeem, RDM stands for redeemed. That means the property owner has already paid the taxes, so therefore it is not going to sell. That could be because the property owner paid the taxes, or it could be because an investor bought it from them before the sale. So that's a very lucrative way to do it as well. So then we have sale, means that one is scheduled for sale. As of right now, it is scheduled for sale. Okay? And then we've got over here is the applicant. So that is the person who owns the certificate. The certificate is only earning them interest on their money. You know, the county has to pay bills, and if property owners do not pay the property taxes, they sell what's called a tax lien certificate on the property to an investor. So the value of the tax lien certificate is equal to the value of that year's taxes. So let's say the owner owed $2,000 in taxes and they had not paid. The county will go out to an investor and say, hey, if you'll buy this certificate, we'll pay you up to 18% interest. Okay, so it goes from 18 all the way down to 0.25% in Florida. So these are certificate holders. After 2 years, they can ask the county to send their property to the sale. So I'm not going to get into every detail. Remember, we're at the 50,000 square foot view. So we're not going to go through everything right now. So basically, that's certificate holder. Another video will go through that, but not right now. And then we've got the case number, certificate number, the year it was issued. So that's the year the tax certificate was issued. And then a parcel ID and the sale date, right? So then let's go back to the other one, which is March 20th. Now, the reason I'm going back is because that file will probably have more information than the other ones that are further out, because 20 days out from the auction, the county starts notifying the previous owner and anybody that's got an encumbrance or a lien on the property that the property is headed to sale. So if we're looking further out, we won't see those notices. Those notices are important. But anyway, all through here are individual files about the property. It's like literally a file. See, like this folder, manila folder I have in my hand? Picture this. And those are the individual documents inside the file. We've got the collector certification, tax collector certification, notice of tax collector application, correspondence, liens, fee, calculation worksheets, prepayment, all this stuff. Title search, O&E. See that at the very bottom? Title search, O&E. That's a really important one. So if we're buying at the auction, we are reading every single one of these documents. Okay? We're reading through them and understanding them to make sure that we know what encumbrances or what issues may be going on with this property. How will we know more about the encumbrances? Well, that's all about title searching, and I'll go through that in another video, but it's a little bit more complicated. But we basically want to know who are the owners and who are the lien holders. Because in Florida, if the property goes to the tax deed sale and it was administered correctly and everybody was notified, most of these liens are just going to go away. They're going to fall off, except for city and county liens. They are not necessarily going to fall off. All right. And then we see there's a death certificate here too. So that person has passed away. This sometimes I want to know if the current owner is deceased or alive, because more people may end up being notified later when you buy it to do your quiet title or your tax deed certification, whatever method you're using. There's 4 ways to get marketable title, so whichever one of those 4 ways might be affected by that. But see, it gives you the property address, who the owners are, where they live, Scottsdale, Arizona. And someone deceased. In addition to that, there's another person here, per the deed. So there's someone on the property appraiser records, and then there's someone who has passed away. And it gives you more of an explanation here as well. No probate was found. What is probate? That is something important to know if you're just starting out doing this or if you've been doing this a while. It's basically the court passing on when someone passes away. The court then, because dead people can't sign deeds, obviously. So you have to go to court for the court to now put the property in the heirs, the relative, the next of kin's name. So it's usually done by looking at the person's will. If they don't have a will, they can still do it that way too. But someone has to start the probate. Okay. So that's important to do. So a lot of times they cannot sell these properties without the probate being done. But if it goes to at the tax sale, they can sell it. But the homeowner themselves, obviously, the relatives, I should say, the next of kin, would not be able to sell it to you before the auction if the probate has not been done. So probate's a very important step. So that's why it's very important as investors that we have good tools in our toolbox and resources. So you need to know attorneys that can do probates. You need to know who those people are ahead of time, for when these things come up. So anyway, we've got the owner of record. We've got the apparent title holder, which is the person that's deceased, but there's also another owner as well. And look for mortgage. No mortgage on the property. And just City of Palm Bay liens on there. And then something here regarding a limited partnership. So then within the title search itself, no bankruptcy. Okay, so within the title search itself, they are going to usually attach all the documents that they found. Where am I? So we'll just go through here. It'll probably be in like other documents or something like that. But anyway, we have to go through that to see what is there. Now I go through in more detail how to do the title searches on my 2-day field trip. That takes 20 minutes to an hour for each title search. So it is a little bit more than I can cover during a Tip Tuesday, but just know that the county keeps a copy of an old title search that they've done in their file. The other thing I wanted to make sure you understood too is that these title searches are not really up to date. See the effective date on this? 20 years up to August 8th. See that? August 8th, 2019. Remember I told you today is February 25th, 2020. Oh, let's do this one page at a time. So this is what we got. August, September, October, November, December, January, February. It's a good 6 months old, this title search. So that's why it's important if you're buying at the tax sale to not only rely on that being the only information available about the property. We also, sorry if I'm talking fast, so just get into my zone about this stuff here. We also have to go to the official records of that county right here. Every county has an official records, and that's where the deeds and any instrument encumbering the property is recorded. So we'll come over here to official records, and we run our own search. So we want to make sure nothing else has happened since August. Then we're also verifying that the clerk that ran the title search did not miss anything as well, because if people were not notified, that is a huge problem. They will have to unwind and give the property back. So you come over here in official records and you can search by name, book and page, book type, file number, record date, all this stuff. We're just doing this list right here. We're going to just do a search by name, and we accept. Sometimes those disclaimers are super long and people get there and they're like, I don't know what to do. Scroll all the way down to the bottom and you'll see the accept. So the one thing I can tell you here, we're searching using the property owner's name or the owner of record, is that you pay attention to what they say about how you should run your search. They will tell you if you do it last name, comma, no space, and then the first name, or if you can add a space in between the last and first name. That's very important because you may not get any results if you do it the wrong way. And then you might think, oh, there's nothing on this one. I'm so lucky, when that's not the case. All right, so we'll go over stuff like this, probably another video. But anyway, just to let you know, so where are we at? We are right behind that preposition. We're over here. So this is the actual tax deed file. And if we want to look at information from the property appraiser's website about the property, we click here, and then the tax collector's page. So if you want to see what type of property it is, we click there. And then it takes us to the property appraiser. So no matter what county you're working in, you should be very familiar with that county's property appraiser. If you're not, just start searching properties and read what information they have available on the property. Do they have special reports? Do they have special views? Because when it's time for you to use it, you want to be able to use it correctly. Now, let's go back. And you're probably wondering, well, what is on the auction site, right? When I go to the auction site, let's go back. All right, let's start at the beginning. Let me hit back. So remember, we landed here and we hit auctions. Oh, I was just there. So we come over here and we hit real auction. And let's say we click on calendar. And let's go to February. We come over here. This is March 26th. It says there's 46 out of however many. And as you can see, now I'm not logged in. Let me log in. This is just a dummy account, so let's log into this account. All right, so if you are logged in, you can come over here and you will see that we have a link here. Let's open it in a new tab. And that takes us where? To over here. And from here, same information here about the property. And then we've got the street map, property appraiser, satellite view, Zillow. So that's it. There's a certificate holder, and really not that much info here to help you out. So you see, that's why we stay on the county's website to see all the information that they have about the property, because once you're on here on the auction site, they don't have that much information. Okay, so we just go back here, and this auction's not until March 26th, so it'll start at 9 a.m. And some of these that have already been redeemed, these are the ones that are closed or canceled. All right. So that's it for Tip Tuesday. I hope that was helpful. If you have any other questions, be sure to message me or contact me. And if you have any ideas for any videos, also be sure to contact me. You can always get to this website here with all 67 counties in Florida. You go down here, the National Association of Counties link will get you the other counties outside of Florida if you're doing other states. So in Florida here, I've got abbreviations for property appraiser, tax collector, clerk of the court, and CMT. Now, every now and then you might go to a link and it's like, oh, it's not working, because the counties are always changing their links and their websites around. If you click someplace on the header, that will usually get you to the main page. If not, just Google it, you know? So anyway, wish you some happy investing, and this is the Queen of Tax Deeds, Sandra Edmond.